Hey, it's Avi. I'm going to show you how I made this double gatefold Shadowbox card. The card base measures at 5.5 by 11 inches and is scored at 1 3/4 and 3.5 inches on each side. Fold the inner score lines forward and the outer score lines back. Trim 2 pieces of cardstock measuring at 7.5 by 1 1/4 inches. Score them at 4 and 5 3/4 inches. Fold the outer score lines forward and the inner score lines back. I cut down 4 panels measuring at 1.5 by 5 1/4 inches, 1 panel measuring at 3 3/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, 4 panels measuring at 1.5 inches by 1 inch, and 2 panels measuring at 3 3/4 inches by 1 inch. I embossed the panels with the Petal Palooza embossing folder from Altenew. I adhered the 2 panels measuring at 3 3/4 inches by 1 inch to the 4-inch sections of the borders. I adhered the 4 panels measuring at 1.5 inches by 1 inch to the inner and outer walls of the borders. I adhered the panel measuring at 3 3/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches to the center of the card base. I adhered 2 of the panels measuring at 1.5 inches by 5 1/4 inches to the inner wings. I applied adhesive to the back of the outer wall and attached it to the top right corner of the center of the card base. I applied adhesive to the top left corner of the card base and attached the other side of the border to the left wing. I repeated the same process with the bottom border, but in reverse. I added foam tape along with some liquid adhesive to the remaining panels measuring at 1.5 inches by 5 1/4 inches to the outer wings of the card base. I die cut some hearts from a Nesting Hearts die set and some of the flowers from the Bold Blossoms die set from brushed rose and brushed silver metallic cardstock by Altenew. I adhered the rose gold flowers to the silver hearts and the silver flowers to the rose gold hearts. I trimmed the excess from the edges. I inked up the Love You stamp from the Pocket Sentiments Complete Bundle by Altenew with embossing ink, covered it with rose gold embossing powder, and heat set it. I used the coordinating die to die cut the sentiment. I added a piece of foam tape to the sentiment and adhered it to one of the hearts. I added adhesive to one side of the hearts and attached it to the top corner of the left wing. I added foam tape to one side of a smaller heart and attached it to the heart in the top left corner. I repeated that same process on the bottom, but in reverse. I made a pop-up feature by trimming down a piece of cardstock measuring at 2.5 by 4 inches and scored at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5 inches, and 2 inches along the 2.5-inch edge. I folded all score lines forward. I shaved a little tiny bit off the edge to make it fold flatter. I folded 2 score lines over from the left, added adhesive to the edge, and folded the right side over. I trimmed down the pop-up feature for a better fit. I then adhered it to the center of the back of the heart, and then I adhered the heart to the center of the card base. I made a partial die cut using a very small circled die from the top center of a piece of cardstock measuring at 3 3/4 inches by 3 3/4 inches. I embossed it with the Petal Palooza embossing folder. I added adhesive to the left, bottom, and right and adhered it to the back of the center of the card base to make a pocket. I added a piece of cardstock measuring at 3 by 3 inches to fit in the pocket. I inked up Love Note from the Shine Bright stamp set by Altenew with embossing ink, covered it with antique silver embossing powder, and heat set it. I die cut a small heart from the Hero Arts Infinity nesting die set. I adhered the heart to create a pull tab for the love note. And that is how these cards came together. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.